Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Random Call Sign and welcome to a new video. Today it will be a sim racing hardware review centering on the Thrustmaster Ferrari F1 wheel add-on for the Thrustmaster wheelbase ecosystem. As you know, I've been using the T300RS for a few years now, and while the stock rim is great, being solid and comfortable, the number of buttons leave a bit to be desired. It's not a design flaw, as the stock wheel is comfortable and well built, but something that comes with these designs of these types of rims. So, and since I've been racing with a lot of GT cars lately and I didn't want to change ecosystems just yet, the Ferrari Formula 1 wheel add-on was a logical purchase, as nothing else in the ecosystem offered these features. But first of all, thank you to all subscribers and viewers for your support and donations, as they have made this review possible. So getting one of these will set you back somewhere in the region of 140 to 117 pounds, 170 euros, or roughly 200 US dollars. It's not an inexpensive rim, but if you compared this rim to other rims available at the moment in the market, it's possibly one of the cheapest, and compared to DIY solutions, the price is also quite competitive. The specs for this rim are as follows. It's a replica of the 2011 Ferrari Formula 1 car. It has a push-pull paddle shifter, 11 buttons, of which 3 are also auto-centering switch types, 2 rotors, which serve as 4 individual assignable buttons, 2 hat switches. The left one is the D-pad, the right one can be used as 4 different buttons. It uses the Thrustmaster type of quick release. It's compatible with the T300, T500, and TX bases. It has a metal assembly and rubber grips. In total, there are 19 assignable buttons of different types, excluding the left D-pad that may be mapped individually in some games, and the paddle shifter. It has a great selection of buttons to assign, far more than any other wheel rim on the same ecosystem. Let's also state that the format of these types of rims are not for every use case. They are meant to be used with cars that won't require constant counter steering or constant use of hand-over-hand steering. So mainly formulas, GTs, LMPs, or modern DTM types of cars. If you look at the box now, it's quite straightforward. There's some styrofoam, there's a rim inside, it's forgettable stuff really, so let's kick it out of the way. Picking up the rim gives out a bit of mixed feelings, to be honest. In one hand, the weight is quite substantial, it feels well assembled. The assembly is metal with metal paddle shifters, but the details, mainly the inside rotors, are just there for show. Only the central hub is detailed, and the 5 rotors around there are basically just glued in details. That takes away a bit of the experience, but you have to be realistic. The price point mandates that to be the case, as upping the complexity with more rotors would also increase the price, possibly even past the cost of the wheelbases on which it will be paired with. So, the solution chosen, while not good aesthetic-wise, it's reasonable. Installing the rim is quite a breeze. It's just unfasten the screw in the axle, remove the sleeving, remove the installed rim, do the same process backwards, and the rim will be installed. The rim will be detected as the Ferrari F1 wheel and not as the T300RS anymore, so you'll most likely need to update your firmware, and I'll also recommend to use the advanced mode so you'll have access to the whole setup of buttons. If not, the right D-pad as well as the rotors will work as one, so you'll be missing the access to 8 assignable buttons. This also means if you change the wheel, you will require to reassign the buttons in-game, as, once again, it is detected as the Ferrari Formula 1 wheel and not as the T300RS wheel anymore. In terms of testing, I've used this rim on Assetto Corsa, R Racing, and R3, all of them for the PC. The base used is the T300RS, and if you are interested in a review of this base, check out the card above. Jumping into a GT car shows how useful this rim is. The hand position is excellent, the rim has exactly a perfect size for the job, there's a good number of reachable buttons. We can count the rotors, which are in excellent position, as well as the buttons on the top of the wheel, the buttons just below the thumb, but if you're looking for the D-pads or the button switches, they are not reachable without looking. Button travel is fairly long. I assume that was done to avoid misclicks. Switches also take a bit of force to use, much due to the centering spring, most likely once again to avoid accidental use. The rotors are also the same story. If you just rotate them lightly, they don't engage, most likely to avoid those misclicks. Still, regarding the buttons, I think it should be said, personally, I feel that the buttons leave something to be desired. The sticker quality is appalling. They rotate quite a lot, something that the wheel in the T300 RS doesn't do. Travel is slightly too much for me with the shallow feedback at the bottom. The push paddle shifter won't be unanimous, though I like it very much, the design of it, as in some situations where multitasking on the wheel is required, it's possible to shift with just one hand. The downside of it, though, it's once again the feedback and clickiness of the button engagement. If you want to improve the engagement, a 3D wrap offers a solution using magnet paddles that will require opening a wheel to solder them in. That will also bring the downside or upside, depending on your taste, of removing the push paddle feature. As for ergonomics, I really like how the grip feels secure and locked into position. The steering position for me is just perfect. The only downside, I think, is the girth of the handles. It's a bit too thin, but I think with a bit of grip tape, it can be resolved. Using the rim also reveals a few of the shortcomings of it. Firstly, the rubber is awful. It gets sweaty really easily. It feels awful in the hand. The rubber just feels cheap and tacky to the touch, and as such, I'd recommend the usage of gloves with it. Not for the sake of saving the rim or the rubber for that matter, but saving your hands from the experience of this really bad rubber. I've ended up buying some mechanics gloves for £11, but being fair, spending these £11 is already too much for what it is supposed to do. If you have access to full-fingered cycle gloves or karting gloves or some gloves that are comfortable and are tactile, just use them. If you must buy something for gloves, find something that is cheap and flexible and also comfortable, so any working glove will do. As for conclusions, the Ferrari Formula 1 wheel rim, despite its downsides that are essentially cost-cutting measures, is a good choice. But let's be a little bit frank here. This rim is in a situation where it is the only Formula or GT style rim available in a Thrustmaster ecosystem that can be bought in the box, because the other Formula style rim is on the TXBC Racer and that cannot be bought separately. So if you don't want to change ecosystems realistically, unless you find something in second hand, the Ferrari Formula 1 wheel is the only choice you have. Despite that, it's well built, it has really good ergonomics, the price point is pretty great. The downsides are basically related to cost-saving measures like I mentioned, such as the vinyl glued on top, as well the buttons that lack feedback. I believe this is actually a good product, but it won't satisfy everyone. So here you have it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you once again to all subscribers and viewers for your support and donations. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to press like, share, subscribe, and press the notification bell so you'll get a notification every time a video and stream is up. Once again, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.